Welcome to the Daily, the Practical, and the Holy, where we explore everyday exercises and practices you can do to help bring yourself closer to God. Today we're talking about salt. I love salt. You love salt. Once I ordered French fries from McDonald's. They came, and guess what? They didn't put salt on it, and you could tell the difference right away. McDonald's French fries with no salt? No, thank you. Anyways, there's a book, a whole book about salt, the history of salt. And really, it's a history about humanity because salt is so important. It's vitally important, especially to ancient cultures. A bag of salt was worth more than a man's life, they would say. In fact, the word salt is a word in Latin that we get the word today, salary. People were actually paid in salt. Roman soldiers, part of their compensation was salt. Wouldn't that be weird? Honey, did you bring home your paycheck today? It's right here. Salt. But it's true. That's how important it was. And Jesus, in his Sermon on the Mount, one of his most important messages, said that you are the salt of the earth. What is he talking about? Why is Jesus calling us salt? Well, salt really has three purposes, especially in the ancient world. The first purpose was to preserve food, and that was huge. Before they knew you could preserve food with salt, civilization was difficult. It was hard because you couldn't transport food for very long. You couldn't hold on to food for very long. It would rot, it would go bad. But when they figured out how to preserve food with salt, now food could last longer. Now it could travel. They could sell it to further places. Your cities could grow and build. It was huge. Salt has that power of preserving. And that's actually what God calls us to do, to be salty, to preserve life, to be that season, that salt, that essence that's added to life that helps prevent corruption. Because everything in this world is going to fade. Money is going to fade. Your businesses are going to fade. Politics, it's all going to fade. Even our government, it's all going to come apart. So those things are being corrupted as we speak. But there are things in this world that last, that preserve, that go on. Things like love, things like forgiveness, things like hope and joy and peace and patience and kindness. Those things last forever. And so Jesus, even later on in the Sermon on the Mount, says, store up for yourselves treasures in heaven where moth and rust do not consume. Jesus is saying you are salt, and so you need to hang on and pursue those things that do not corrupt. Ultimately, what doesn't corrupt is our character. Our character is what lasts. If our character is good and full of that fruit of the Spirit, then life and our society and our community, our family, our churches, those things will be good. But if our character is not good, then all those things around us will be corrupted. Second, salt not only preserved, it also in ancient world healed. Salt was an anti-inflammatory and an antiseptic. You hear the saying, throw salt in the wound. That we usually say that when someone is throwing some shade at us when we're already down. But it's an actually real saying because they used to put salt in your wound because it would help with inflammation. It would help clean out some of the bacteria that was inside you. And yes, it stung, but it worked. And being salt in this world, we are called to be healers in this world. In fact, that's why Jesus came. Jesus says in Luke 4 that the Spirit of the Lord is on me because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He sent me to proclaim freedom to the prisoners, recovery to the sight of the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor. You have healing in that passage. And how does that healing happen? It happens through forgiveness. To be salt of the earth means that we are people of forgiveness. And in forgiving, we heal other people. And yes, we even heal ourselves. So we're supposed to be preservers of society through our character. We're supposed to be healers through the act of forgiveness. But the last thing that salt does is salt seasons things. It adds zest to things like my McDonald's French fries. No one wants to eat French fries without salt. Have you ever had a potato chip without salt? Nobody wants that. Salt is supposed to add zest and flavor, and that's what we are. So many times people, followers of Jesus, think their job is to make people feel bad about themselves, to make people feel down about themselves. But we are salt. We're supposed to add zest to the world, life and taste and fullness to the world. How do you do that? The best way you can add joy to your life and other people's life is the act of giving. That's what salt does. Salt gives. When you add salt to a meal, it gives itself, its saltiness to the food, and the result of that is the food gives back greater flavor. When you add the right amount of salt, whatever you're eating, the flavor is enhanced. When we give our joy, when we give our helping hand, when we give our money, when we give support to others, the truth is we actually get back even more. Jesus says that again in Luke 6. He says, give and it'll be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. It'll be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it'll be measured to you. So when salt gives, it gets back its flavor. When we, followers of Jesus, give, we get back even greater joy. So go and be salt in the world. Go add zest. Go bring healing through forgiveness, and cling onto that character of Christ through the fruit of the Spirit. If you like this video, let us know. Subscribe below and check out our other videos. Until then, we'll see you next time, guys.